light heavyweight. Kelly, 3 years younger, an inch taller, 2-inch reach advantage over Jones. They both weighed in under the limit. Jones 3 pounds under, although for a while it appeared he was going to wait to weigh in and seemed to be trying to drop weight. Obviously that wasn't the case. Tonight on our unofficial HBO scale, Jones weighs 182 and Kelly 6 pounds heavier, as Roy alluded to earlier, at 188. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Roy Jones Jr. Glen Kelly fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case the cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and it cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
Down in Australia, like Olympic 400-meter star Kathy Freeman, Glen Kelly has become a visible representative of Aboriginal rights and Aboriginal spirit. He participated prominently in a ceremony last year to honor cooperation between the new society and the old one in Australia. But he's a sanitation worker in Sydney. He's worked as a sanitation worker throughout his career, and he may be a little humble for this assignment, Emmanuel.
That's what I'm concerned about. He seems to have too humble a background. And having Jeff Finnick in his corner does help a lot, because Jeff is just opposite. Unfortunately, Jeff isn't fighting tonight. But you're going to see Jeff continually talking to him throughout the entire night, because Jeff is where he gets his energy and strength from.
Jeff Finnick, a former world champion at 130 pounds, an extremely fiery personality, who tells his fighter Glen Kelly he wants him to attack Jones, rough him up, disrespect him, foul him if necessary. I don't think there's any question Jeff would do it.
That's correct, but that's the only way he's going to fight Roy Jones to be successful. You cannot outbox Roy Jones. There's only one boxer of recent years, probably Thomas Hearns, who would have been a problem, but it's probably possible to outbox Roy Jones. But for the rest of these guys out here, they're going to have to be very physical, and don't be too intelligent trying to think and analyze. You're just going to have to get out there and just fight Roy Jones, and fight Roy Jones, and make Roy Jones fight more than he should. But I don't know if this is the man that can do that.
28 wins, no losses, 1 draw, a terrific record for Kelly. His big credentials for this fight: 2 wins by knockout over Roy Jones's sparring partner and friend Billy Lewis. Fighting Billy Lewis is a far cry from fighting Roy Jones.
That was interesting when I was telling him about the entire atmosphere of fighting one of the most colorful fighters in the world. You know, we're Roy Jones country. Hip-hop music, dogs. You got the horses.
Beautiful
you got
women.
Everything going on down here, all of the movie stars. He says, well, I fought under those conditions before. I fought Billy Lewis. Yeah, but you wasn't fighting Roy Jones.
Meanwhile, Roy Jones recently released a rap single, which has made it all the way up to number 2 on the rap chart. Meteoric success already as a rapper for Roy. His album, Round 1, will be released February 26th. The great anticipation. The multi-talented Jones has often shown off in the past his ability to do different things outside the ring. He once defeated Eric Luca in a title defense after playing in a basketball game in a minor basketball league that morning, and I'm sure the rap music isn't going to distract him too much here.
No, he has a tremendous amount of concentration to focus on boxing and be involved in so many other things. But if he was fighting the quality of fighters of the 80s, like the Thomas Hearns, the Marvin Haglers, the Sugar Ray Leonard, he would have a different problem. He would not be able to do all of those things. That's reflective of the caliber of the opponents that he's fighting.
Well, that's the complaint, that he has fought mandatory opponents like Richard Frazier and Richard Hall and Derek Harmon and tonight Glen Kelly and Julio Gonzalez and various others with whom the public was not familiar. That's why so much of the world wants to see him fight a Darius Michalczewski or a Bernard Hopkins.
At least be in a strong competitive fight where we can see him have to dig down and see what he's made of. I think he would perform well if he's ever been in that situation. The closest he almost came was a James Toney, but James Toney came in ill-prepared. Roy Jones has been amazing that he's had such a fantastic career without ever being in a situation where he had to really get down and dig.
All right, that's the setup. Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to American Airlines Arena here in Miami, Florida, where tonight Square Ring Incorporated presents 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world. Brought to you in association with Roy Jones Jr. Round 1, the album, and the American Airlines Arena. Sanctioned by the Florida State Boxing Commission, Chairman Alvin Anton. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this bout on the 10-point Moss system will be Samuel Conde, Rich Green, and Peter Trematera. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Max Parker Jr. And now, from Miami, Florida, to all the men and women now serving in the armed forces of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, trimmed with black, and weighing in at 174.5 pounds. He comes to this fight with an excellent professional record consisting of 28 victories, without a loss, including 50 knockouts, and he has 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, from the land down under, Sydney, Australia, here is the IBF #1 ranked challenger in the world, the undefeated Glen Kelly. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with white trim, and weighing 172 pounds. He was the most outstanding boxer of the 1988 Olympics, and since turning professional, he has won 4 world titles, with a record that stands at 45 victories, including 36 knockouts, with only 1 loss by disqualification, avenged by a first-round knockout. He is universally acclaimed as the very best boxer in the world for the past decade, from Pensacola, Florida, presenting the former middleweight, former super middleweight, and 2-time light heavyweight champion, the reigning, defending, undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Go. Everybody out. Everybody out. Okay, gentlemen, all clean and sportsmanlike contest. You both know the rules. On this point to the end about you both obey my every command. I wish you both luck. Touch gloves, come out, box on the bell. What's up, boys? Coming out.
Stars in the crowd as Roy Jones's extended friendships within the sports world are on display here. Barry Bonds at ringside, brand new Atlanta Brave Gary Sheffield at ringside, various leading lights from the worlds of rap music and hip-hop fashion and music here. And there's Jeff Finnick trying to inject some fire into the heart and soul of his fighter, Glen Kelly. At one point during his second fight with Billy Lewis, Kelly's performance was so disheartening to Finnick that he left the corner and allowed the fighter to come back to the corner between rounds without being there to talk to him. He said, "I got the message, you thought."
Jeff is a very emotional fight trainer, but it also is the same way as a fighter.
Hey, if Jeff were in the ring, he'd be giving up 55 pounds for Roy Jones, and you just know he'd jump in his face anyway.
He would maybe be a bigger threat than Kelly is.
But will Kelly?
I'd like to make a note also that Jeff Finnick has just been inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
In Canada,
yeah, so this June I will be up there to welcome him.
You're no doubt already a member of that Hall of Fame, Manuel.
Yes, and I'm very excited about being on because he gets inducted too.
Kelly backing off as Roy Jones begins the assault with straight right hand. Again, if you haven't seen much of Jones, Clearly the most unconventional style of all current great fighters. He seldom starts his attack with the jab. He'll lead with hooks, lead with straight right hands. Sometimes he'll just jump in and immediately go to infighting because he can do that too. Brilliant skills in every area, Manny.
Yeah, the thing he's got to do is to make a faster and more consistent tempo fighting this guy. This guy likes to fight in spots, very much reluctant, and if Roy fights his normal style of laid back, it could be a boring fight.
You see the size and strength of Kelly. This for Jones is like hitting a brick wall compared to some of his previous opponents. The little Richard Hall, for instance.
Roy Jones' skill and speed will neutralize all of the supposed advantages that Kelly has.
And certainly from that range, Kelly won't be able to bother him much.
No, Kelly, his basic fundamentals are bad. When he misses the punch, his right leg is all up in there. Once Roy sets the tempo up a little faster, it's going to be just a matter of time.
If Kelly really wanted to compete with Jones, wouldn't he, Emmanuel, have to step right up into his chest?
Yes, he would, but it's not his nature. He's just the opposite of just finish. Mentally, physically, and talent-wise.
So abundantly clear in yesterday's conversation with every time we asked Kelly about his approach to fighting Jones and what he was going to do, Fennec would answer. And eventually you said, I can see that Jeff is fired up to fight Roy. How about you, Glenn? 33 years old and still with dazzling speed, Roy Jones.
Roy's doing just what he and I discussed earlier. To fight a guy like this, you're going to have to just fight a faster tempo because this guy is not used to not only fighting fast, he's not used to thinking fast. So just start doing a lot of different things, body movements, everything, to make him get off track and make him have to speed up his tempo, so to say.
Got this kid fighting a totally defensive fight. He got his hands kind of high. He's working his jab, changing the jab up and stuff. Hands is up high. Hands is up high. The elbow. No more leaving the body up. He's bringing his hands down. He got a defense high. You know what I'm saying? He's very well. Let's put him backwards. Let's put him backwards, Mike MD. Okay? Don't let him just be taking it. Don't let him stand in the ring and walk and fight you and that. Put him backwards, help him good, tie him up there. Don't let him punch him on the rope. But there, one punch is not enough, it's got to be in bunches. It's got to be in bunches. Right here, left to the right. Let's go, Red, get out of there.
Hard right to the body by Jones.
Get up, Blue, get up, get up.
In what was expected to be one of his most spirited challenges a few years back, Roy knocked out Virgil Hill with a vicious body shot.
Who is the present WBA Cruiserweight Champion of the world.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Glen Kelly landed one of 20 attempted punches. Jones, not much faster tempo, 7 out of 34. Usually starts cautiously in round one and tries to get a look at his opponent, what he's going to do before he begins to develop more of the arsenal.
And he should get right back to the attack again, regardless of whether he lands or not.
In his title defense in Los Angeles last summer against Julio Gonzalez, who was also big for a light heavyweight, Jones knocked Gonzalez down 3 times in the first, 5th, and 12th rounds. But in none of those 3 instances did he step in and try to finish the fight.
And he's went back into defense mode right now. He's really trying to catch Kelly coming in with a counter left hook we call a check hook. He's really waiting on him to come in. They can take that half, scoot back, and shoot the hook at the same time.
Doesn't look like Kelly wants to come in.
No, so he's going to have to change up and take it back to him again. Roy's a very accurate puncher. All he has to do is just be busier, and it's just a matter of time before he'll stop it.
Among the many things at which Roy is so totally adept, he feints as as well as any fighter in the sport. And he can decoy you. He'll look right at the middle of your chest and hit you in the head.
Right on the
He'll look
chin.
at your head and hit you right in the belly.
He's a very exceptionally intelligent and gifted fighter.
Right hand stun Kelly as he hit the left earlier. And now Jones with a little super.
I know he's got it going now. All he has to do is just sum it up, and this fight is over with. Kelly has no real defense to hold it down for Jones. And Roy can do so many different things. Even though Kelly's a big guy, too clumsy in everything he does, Roy can see it, so it's not going to be that effective anyway.
Looping uppercut. And again the left hook. Kelly has swept his right hand every time Jones has started with a left hook.
That's about a time. I think Roy's going to put on one of his better performances tonight. He's got the perfect opponent in front of him.
Other left hook lands flush. And again Kelly is done. If you missed it, add the replay of HBO's The Claims documentary, Picture Perfect. Stories behind the greatest photographs in sports. This documentary takes a look back through the golden era of sports photography at some of the most compelling sport moments ever captured on film.
He tied it a little bit, and every time you go front at him, he's flipping up. Try to keep him moving back, he can get his back on the rope, okay? Get his back on the rope so you can jam him up. You understand? Then put some nuts on him.
7 punches in that round.
Come over with that with these 7 punches. The one time, no punches!
Here's a look at the looping right hand, one of 3 punches with which Kelly appeared to be stunned by Jones in round number 2. There was also a left hook earlier than that, and a quick left hook at the end of the round. Jones threw 69 punches in the round. That's a very high output for him. 13 out of 22 in power shots. Looks like he's a little more interested in a knockout tonight than has generally been the case.
I'm very impressed with Jones tonight. He's fighting a very good fight. I think he's mixing up his attack, doing a variety of things. And Kelly is the perfect opponent for him tonight.
And you heard Jeff Fennick in the corner pleading with his fighter to throw punches. So Kelly comes out and tries to attack. As you can see, 1 punch at a time and slow at that.
And once he started throwing punches, just a matter of time before he's going to get caught. The only reason he survived this long is because he hasn't been throwing punches.
When he tried to throw a punch at the end of round 2, Jones countered perfectly with the left hook.
Speed is a big factor in this fight.
Well, when Vernon Forrest fought a very fast fighter in Shane Mosley last week, he said, the way you stop speed is with the jab. But Vernon kept it working. Kelly just hadn't thrown much.
No, there's no speed at all coming from Kelly. You know, he's trying to think and fight an intelligent fight. And to beat Roy Jones, you just have to be somewhat like stupid and just keep punching, keep punching, keep punching. And even then, he's not going to do it so much, but it's his best chance.
This is exactly the opposite of what Kelly acknowledged he would have to do to be in the fight. So it's easy to talk about it. Yeah, it's not very easy to do.
Not that easy to do, especially for the talented fighter like Roy Jones.
Jones came close to showing us uppercut.
He never knew where Jones was going to punch from. Jones is mixing up his attacks too much. Overhand right hand to the rear here. Now he created a leaping left uppercut right between the gloves.
A leaping left uppercut. You wouldn't teach it either, would you?
No, but he was studying the hand position. And he realized that every time he goes to this guy, he's putting his hands on the side. So Roy, being as smart as he is, he charged at it with a left uppercut.
First knockdown of the night for Jones. And that's the most spirited effort Kelly has made to actually get at Jones. And he lands a right hand to the body. And Jones, with a right cross shot, to punctuate round 3.
We punch him and we're going to get out of it and he knocks you down. Glenn, we can't stop and start. Let's put the pressure on him, Glenn. Glenn, what's the worst case scenario? Well, then let's do it then. Let's go for it, son. Let's not give him a chance. Let's not just let him hit us when he wants to. Make him fight us. If he's going to hit us, if he's going to knock us down, make him fight for it. Come on, Glenn, put the punches in there. Don't say yes to me no more, son.
We can't win without punching.
I know you are, but you can do it. Glenn, I seen you to do it all with right hand with there, but you stopped it.
Take the punches from out in that room in there and bring him in here.
Bring him here, son.
I can hit him hard this round. We want this round.
Come on,
There's the knockdown, and as you say, a leaping left uppercut.
Anticipation of where he was going to hold his hands defensively, Roy shot the left uppercut.
Round 4 begins. Roy Jones tremendously dominant in the first 3 rounds. Harold, what's the score?
Okay, Jim. 3 rounds to nothing. 30-26, Roy Jones Jr. Jimmy could have just as easily been another 10-8 round in his second round because Roy staggered himself badly. But so far, it's the old Roy Jones showing us all the tricks, the leaping shots, the step to the right, the bobbing and weaving, the feints. It's incredible. Roy Jones Jr. putting on a show.
You heard Jeff Finnick's campaign between rounds to get Kelly to fight, a speech worthy of Patetti Atlas, and Kelly actually landed a right hand on Jones's chin while Harold was giving us the score.
You know, Roy's noticed the position of his hands, so instead of shooting a lot of straight right hands, Roy's shooting a looping right hand, and later on you may see him change it up and then start throwing the right hand right between the gloves.
Or he may leap forward and throw the uppercut with the right hand as opposed to the left.
And that's why Kelly is going to have a rough time trying to figure out what Roy Jones is.
Now this is what you ought to do against Jones. He pushes him against the rope and bangs to the body.
It's got to be very physical. See, what made Ike Abuchi so successful when he fought Chris Bird, he did not fight an intelligent fight. He just kept throwing punches at Chris Bird from all angles. He didn't try to think.
He didn't box with him.
He didn't box. He
didn't give Bird a chance to box him. He just went right at it.
Kept punching. You have to be an animal, in other words, to something.
That's right. Well, Kelly gave us about 20 seconds of it. There's some what-to there. It's just that he's slow.
And even to the point where if he gets hit with a punch, sometimes he may appear to be staggered or go down. It's just because of such bad balance and coordination.
Roy throwing a jab. He'll spot the jab from time to time. Fight in a conventional style, and he gets there. Hook right hand.
It wasn't hurt a jab. That was against bad balance and coordination on the part of Kelly that makes him appear to be hurt sometimes.
Roy holding the right hand out there to invite Kelly to throw the jab so that he can counter over.
Right, and Kelly is not going to throw the jab. What Roy could do would really make this a masterpiece if he could start jabbing. That would relax Kelly a lot more, and then he could take him out with a much cleaner punch.
Well, he's jabbing more in this round.
The jab would relax him a little bit more. Jab him to the body, jab him to the head. Look to the body, shoot a right hand right on the chin.
Not once tonight has Roy Jones indulged his worst in-the-ring habit, which is to back into the corners on his own and allow the opponent to have at it. It was a South Beach nightclub named Level. Monday night, Roy Jones performing his brand new rap single, That Was Then, which now appears at #2 on Billboard's Hot Rap Radio Airplay chart. rather brilliant debut and a good sign for the possibility of big sales when the album Round 1 is released on February 26th.
Make him do something, open him up. Stand in front of me, just waiting for a counter. They got him playing safe. Move left, move right. When he try to step to you, then get your combination off. Okay? Try to make him commit himself. See how he likes it. Keep him but we could have done more than one more. I know, come on, mate. Just respecting you, man. Son, deep so far. Come on, now. Deep so far. I'm ready. Come on, mate. Get up, Blue. Get up. Go back, get up.
Emmanuel, you say Tommy Hearns would have given Roy Jones trouble. How?
No doubt. Tommy Hearns had no problems with boxers. He had problems with maybe brawlers, but Ray Leonard, Berger, Hill, Benitez, and Tommy was a master boxer. He would have been a big problem, I think, style-wise for Roy in his prime.
Because of his length and his jab?
His length, and he used his height very well. And then Tommy had that very sneaky right hand that you never saw. He was not necessarily a hard right-hand puncher, but you never saw the right hand. He was one of the best guys that was deceiving the right hand. But he would have been a big problem.
Who would have countered him?
Well, it's really difficult. Roy hasn't had that much of a challenge in his life because of the talent that he has and at the time that he in the division. But I think that Thomas would have been a big threat. Even Benitez, one of the best counter punchers in the business, cannot counter Tommy's jab.
Here we go.
When you look at the binding speed and natural instincts of Roy Jones, it would have been an amazing fight to have saw. Roy Jones and Sugar Ray Leonard. That would have been Roy Jones and Bob Hagler.
Roy Jones and Sugar Ray Leonard at 160 or 154. At this weight, he'd been too strong for Leonard. It would have had to have been Hearns up him.
Yeah, but you see, those guys had so much speed and talent that a lot of times they didn't really even matter to stomach good. And they didn't necessarily use their weight all the time. They were just talented fighters.
So if it were to take place at, let's say, 168, what would Jones and Hopkins look like?
Well, what I'm looking at right here, the good fight, because Hopkins didn't get the show well tonight because he fought a fighter who was very defensive-minded, southpaw, who had a good enough amateur background, which made him a little bit treacherous. And he couldn't really get in his mode, so I think we couldn't judge necessarily, him on that. But still, Hopkins and Jones would be a good fight. Jones, if he fights like he's fighting now, may be a little bit too tricky, a little bit too more elusive for Hopkins. Because Hopkins throws punches, but he likes to throw his punches and then move in to bump you with his shoulders. And Roy being smart, taking kind of moves, moving back and forth, may be a problem. Speed could be a big factor.
Is Jones faster than Hopkins?
I think Jones is faster than his own. But the Hopkins has turned out to be a solid fighter, and if the fight gets to be into a tough neighborhood, where Hopkins has been quite a few times, he may prevail. But Jones has never been in a tough fight here.
We spend round 5 speaking in the hypothetical about other fights, because here versus Glen Kelly, it's more of the same. Jones hot-shotting and tattooing Kelly for range with various shots from all different angles.
You didn't do it again. Come over the right hand. If you beat to the right hand, come back to the left. Put it together, son. You're not tired.
Come on, Johnny.
I'll show you what happened.
More action for round 5. Jones with a barrage of right hands after a leaping left hook to begin the action. I don't think Jeff Finnick is going to have a voice by about round 10.
No, and pretty soon he may just jump in the ring and start fighting.
Let me show you how to do it, Glenn.
Yeah. Well, even that last exchange, it wasn't that Kelly was really hurt. He's just so clumsy and uncoordinated. Roy setting him up for something. He's not going to shoot 2 lunge and body shots like that. Sooner or later, he's setting him up for some trick shot somewhere else. The third shot's right into the body.
Still looking straight at the chest.
Yeah, left into the body.
I'm looking for a right hand over the top. Finnick finally gets Kelly to throw a jab. body from Jones, and there
That was a left
it's
hook
the left
that
hook.
set him up on the chin. To me, seemingly the ideal punch for Roy to land would be a left hook to the outside, purposely let him block that, which he will, and then shoot a straight right hand through the middle, which he hasn't thrown all night, and I think is a good chance he could possibly knock out Kelly with that combination. But a left hook to the side and a fast right hand right through the middle.
First time all night that Jones backed himself into the corner, but Kelly couldn't pin him there.
But Kelly's just a little too slow. Very hard to fight a guy who's defensive minded almost 90% of the way.
In case you've just joined us, this is the second half of our unique Undisputed Champions doubleheader on HBO tonight. Earlier, in Reading, Pennsylvania, Bernard Hopkins scored a 10th round technical knockout of Carl Daniels to retain his undisputed middleweight championship. That was at the weight limit, of course, of 160. Now, at a weight limit of 175, Roy Jones tries to defend his undisputed light heavyweight championship and is doing so with routine success against Glen Kelly of Australia. And down goes Kelly on a body shot.
Wicked body shot.
Kelly's corner screaming at referee Max Parker Jr. that they thought the punch was low. I thought it was right on the...
No, it was not low. To my knowledge, a mistake.
I thought it was illegal.
Right on the belt line.
And having hurt Kelly to the body, Jones comes back with two left hooks to the head. Kelly's guard is way low because Jones has hurt him badly to the body.
And Kelly is not hurt. He just uncoordinated. Frustrated.
Keep him up. Keep the punches up. Great, son. Ring. Let's go in the right to blow. Let's come to do something back up. Let's give him some back, Chin. Put him in that corner. Let's give him some back up. For you, brother. Easy, let's give him some back for your own part, huh? For your own part. You go look for that shot now. You got somewhere else to go. Shorten your stuff up. Don't be so wide. All right, way to go. Give me some deep breath. Deep breath. Give me some. You know how to train. Hard to be. Trust me, he's tired than us. You're not even tired. You know what? You're not tired. We're going to push ourselves. If we can, that's what. But when we walk out, we don't want to free.
Here's the replay, Emmanuel.
Yes.
There's a right hand to the body.
Yeah, I don't think that hurt him that much.
And then here's the knockdown punch.
Perfect shot. It didn't even hit the belt line hardly on the trunks too much.
That hurt him, Manny.
Good body shot. Oh, he was hurt there. But his physical size...
They're wiping moisture out of Jones's corner.
His physical size is what has enabled him to be able to absorb those punches.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 6-0, 60-52. Roy Jones Jr. Gave an extra point for the knockdown in the 6th. Gave him an extra point for the knockdown in the 3rd. Jim, in the 6th round, Roy Jones Jr. pumped Glen Kelly with about 3 or 4 real good left hooks to the body. And then when he finally threw that one that knocked him down, I mean, he had softened him up already because he had hit him so many times in the body. Roy Jones Jr. showed us every move of the book. I love that the way he wobbles that shoulders, just keeps Glen Kelly frozen. And he comes in with a hook and the right hand over the top.
You know, this is Roy Jones Jr.'s 24th appearance on HBO. That's more than any other fighter in the history of the network, snapping a tie at 23, which was held with Oscar De La Hoya. And I'll bet you that in those 24 appearances, Roy has won 90 to 95% of the rounds scored by Harold Letterman.
That's very impressive.
Far more than any other fighter.
He very seldom gets hit.
That punch was low.
That was low, but it wasn't dangerously low. You know, I always wanted to see what would happen if Roy got into a real tough fight. And it's amazing he's had almost finishing his career without ever being in a fight where he had to really dig down.
When you talk about how seldom he gets hit, he's the only fighter in CompuBox punch stat history to have gone an entire round without being hit by his opponent. Benny Pazienza did not land the punch in the 6th round of their fight against each other.
You know, I always say that regardless of what talent you have, it comes a fight sooner or later where your talent will not carry you there because of the style of the opponent or whatever.
Shane Mosley learned that last Saturday night. Again, once again, 3rd knockdown of the night.
Who never thought
You know, that's pretty amazing because between rounds, Alton Murkerson, Roy Jones' hand-picked trainer from Pensacola, asked him to go ahead and get the knockout and said, we've got somewhere else to go. I don't know where else they have to go, but they can go now.
They can go. Perfect opponent. Good performance.
Maybe Roy's most crowd-pleasing performance in the past few years.
Yes, he did it. And he needed it, too.
So having watched Bernard Hopkins in Pennsylvania and having been unimpressed,
Still, the undisputed 60-40, pound for pound, bang and throw it down. Huh? How about your boy? What? Don't play with me. See, Bernard, that's your fault. You pissed me off. Don't get me started.
I think we just did get you started, Roy.
Yeah.
Something got him started.
Yeah.
Go get that album, baby. February 26th, round 1. Respect from the hood, baby. You know what I'm saying? Look out for the force. Look up the album. Hey.
Larry isn't here to stop him from doing
Yeah,
Let's take a look at a replay of the knockout. Emmanuel, you tell us what happened.
Roy was just getting in a mode of having a good time at this stage right here. And as I was saying earlier, this guy was surviving because he wasn't that aggressive. And once he started coming in and committed himself, Roy just took advantage of him, caught him with a nice counter punch.
Well, Roy found the trick for knocking him out. He put his hands behind his back.
He said, come on. You can't get any better than this. I hope the young fighters out here don't start trying to do that.
Harold Letterman passes me a note and tells me that referee Max Parker Jr. was about to warn Roy Jones for grabbing the ropes. He never got a chance to issue the warning. Too late, Max. It's already done.
You got the camera right here. What? The back of the gun is down.
Let's go up to Michael Buffer and find out at what moment Roy scored the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Max Parker Jr. reaches the count of 10 at 1 minute, 55 seconds of round number 7. The winner by knockout victory, and still the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
CompuBox numbers, and this will be a Roy Jones wipeout, landing 52 more punches than his opponent, throwing 25 more than doubling, nearly tripling the landing percentage. And power shots, the heart of the Roy Jones attack, 73 out of 139, 53%. In other words, most of his misses were with the jab. And let's take a moment now to talk to the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. Roy, were you more motivated than normal to please the crowd and provide some spectacle tonight?
First of all, I take time out to thank my Lord and Savior God for everything he did for me. Bless me to be here tonight. Bless me to finish my album up. And bless me with the skills that I have to perform. Yes, I feel like I deserve to come out tonight and give the crowd what they're paying for, because some guys seem to be forgetting and thinking that I'm a nice guy or something. I am nice, but I'm awful crucial with these hands. What's up, Pensacola in the house? What's up, Jersey, D.C., all my people all over the world, baby. Patterson, New York, everybody. What's up, people? Pensacola in the house, though.
Roy, how much of your motivation tonight, if any, had to do with Shane Mosley's loss last week and Bernard Hopkins' appearance on this network earlier this evening?
That had nothing to do with neither one of those. I take my hat off to Shane because Shane fought a tough fight. He did his thing. He tried. He'll come back and he'll do good things. Bernard Hopkins is still the same old Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins needs Roy Jones to make a fight. Roy Jones don't need Bernard Hopkins. I can entertain with anything. I take what comes my way pound for pound. That man 188 pounds tonight. I'm 182. Bernard don't want to mess with me, man. I'm trying to be nice about this. Then I beat him. What the hell I got to split 50-50 with him for? He ain't never beat me. He ain't never beat nobody. He got one name on his record.
Felix Trinidad. That's it. The other name on his record he lost to. That ain't worth a damn to me. I don't want to hear that. He gonna give me 64. He ain't fight me. I'm pound for pound the baddest man throwing down. Huh? Right.
Fights faster than other fighters. Talks faster than other fighters too.
Him. He deserves. I deserve 60. I really deserve.
Hello, Mario.
30. You know what I'm saying?
You believed yesterday that Glen Kelly was going to come out and try to jump in your face, get up on you, and rough you up. Instead, he seemed to want to stay back and away from you. Could the knockout have come earlier if he had been more aggressive?
Yeah, if he came at me earlier, the knockout would have occurred earlier. But man, admit the truth, Jim. Admit it. You know, I look 5 times better than a Bernard Hopkins and anybody else that you've seen in the last 12 years. Understand? I've been doing this. I ain't been up and fell off. I've been through the Lennox Lewis era, the Nassim Hamed era, the Sugar Shane Moses era, the Oscar De La Hoya era, Mark Antonio Barrera. I've been through all the eras, and I've still been here. Give me mine.
Boy, when you fight like this, it's tough to argue the point. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the knockout. And Harold Letterman says to me that the referee was on the verge of warning you for grabbing the ropes.
I wasn't grabbing ropes. I was chicken fighting. My Wayne was behind my back. I was
Chicken fighting.
I was the game rooster then. That's that chicken fighting stuff.
You did that to make him come at you,
I
right?
had to make him commit. He didn't want to commit, so I had to give him the chicken thing. I ain't looking for no rope. That's the chicken wing. You know what I'm saying? Watch him. Come here. Don't do that. Ha! Come here now. Huh? Don't do that. Y'all must have forgot.
Is that going to go on the highlight reel?
You got to.
Y'all must have forgot?
Y'all must have forgot. Go get that album, baby. February 26th. Y'all must have forgot in stores. Do that for Roy J.
All right, so off of your bitter discussion before the fight with Bernard Hopkins, obviously you're making clear that a fight with Hopkins could only take place if you get the lion's share of the money, and he seems to be saying that ain't going to happen. Does that mean the fight ain't going to happen?
That's what that means. That means I'm finna go to HBO Monday. Tell HBO, give me some money. Let me go over here to Germany and make this thing happen with Darius Chester since he wants some. I also like to dedicate this fight to a friend of mine, Ernest Prince Sr. He passed away while I was in training camp. Sorry I couldn't be to the funeral, but, you know, we all have that happen sometime. And happy birthday to J, little girl. Yeah.
Roy, you know, I enjoyed working with you as an expert commentator so much that I want you to...
What's up, baby?
You want to narrate the Hopkins highlights with me?
Yeah, ready. Come on.
All right, give me the highlight sheet here. Mike, you don't have it? I must have lost it. All right, earlier this evening in Reading, Pennsylvania, Bernard Hopkins entered in his executioner's mask to take on outmatched southpaw opponent Carl Daniels, and this was a matter of Bernard wearing down Daniels largely with body shots throughout the fight. What did you think?
Add to the fact that Daniels ain't fought in 13 months. How did he get to be number 1 contender? He ain't even fought in 13 months. He got knocked out, I think, last time he fought when he fought Julio Cesar Vasquez, and Bernard Hopkins couldn't even knock him out. You got a junior middleweight that was knocking down Felix Trinidad inside 4 rounds. It took him 11 rounds to do it. He cannot beat me quick. Make him boost his head up. He want a payday, and he ain't finna retire with Roy Jones. Roy Jones smarter than that. What's up, Bigum? I told my dad.
The only thing I'll say, he wouldn't think much of your opponent either.
Well, he ain't got to. He was undefeated. It's better than his opponent. My opponent ain't had no loss in his record. He just got one. What's up, Tarver? Matter of fact, I might fight Antonio Tarver next because he deserves a shot quicker
because
than
he's standing 9 feet away over there, right?
That's right. I'll fight.
Antonio Tarver's an awfully big light heavyweight.
I don't give a damn. That was a big one I fought. I don't give a damn.
Hey, one more thing. Before the 7th round, your trainer, Alton Merkerson, said, by God, go knock the man out. We got somewhere else to go. Where you got to go?
I got some partying to go do with my friends in Miami. I got some new friends. I'm in the South Beach. All fans of Roy Jones Jr., the cats from club level, the people that came out supporting me in my performance the other night. I got to go hang out with them.
I'm invited too, right?
Part of ways joint, you know what I'm saying?